KSMO.com or in stores at your local CVS.
Here at KSMO Radio, well, we, as promised, are going to be talking with Heather right here, 8:30 on the nose. Not very often we get to do that, but change around a little bit here of the yard. I just actually got in about 20 minutes ago and found water in the basement. What else can be more fun on a Tuesday, right?
Better than on a Monday.
Well, that is true. That is true. But this is my Monday of the week since I just got back in town. Well, anyway, good to have you.
Yeah, nice to be here.
And obviously, you're still getting over the kind of a cool day that you had there for your annual
meeting. We got really lucky.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was you. I mean, we did ask you to put in a request for nice weather.
It wasn't bad, but it was still pretty hot.
It was warm, but it was not bad
Not
at the
oppressive.
park. No, there was plenty of shade. It was not raining. There was shade. There was a breeze. We were not complaining at all.
No, and like I said, but as the week went on, it was 94 on Wednesday, and every
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna have but it did cool down.
It did. Yep, it sure did.
But it does still get pretty warm out there. But so again, but a great crowd on hand. You guys had.
We did.
I hear. I wasn't there.
Yeah, we were a little worried initially because we're like, where's all the people? But they came out and joined us, and I think they got up and realized the weather wasn't too bad, so they're like, yeah, we'll just go down there.
If you build it, they will come.
Right?
I heard that in a movie.
Something. I don't know. It's been said before, I think.
If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah, but we did. We had a good day. We had a good crowd. We had a lot of vendors over in the craft area. It really was just a good day. I mean, we had, of course, all the traditional annual meeting stuff. We had our meal, and we had the kids' 10 activities and the pictures in the bucket. And we had a safety truck demonstration this year. That was something
How did that
new.
go?
It went well.
Was that in high demand?
It was, yeah. Okay. There were a lot of people watch it. Our speaker needs a mic. So, we talk about, we start planning next year's annual meeting the day after annual meeting, and we can laugh about it, but it's the truth. And that's one of those things that's like, okay,
Everybody overlooked that.
Yeah, what went well, what didn't, what do we need to do different? And so if you were there and you couldn't hear very well, we have taken note. He will have a speaker next year, have a mic.
Is that number one on the priority list?
I don't know that it's number one
it's
on
right
the priority, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, very good.
Yeah.
Well, very good. It's always interesting to go to those because you meet so many different people. And that really is what it has become known for as a picnic because it is a social event.
Yeah.
You get people together who don't see each other very often. And, we get busy on our daily schedules, and then we come across a neighbor 2 doors down we haven't seen in probably a whole year since our last annual meeting.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's a good way to get out and about, maybe see some people you haven't seen in a while, but also it is a business meeting, and that is what the key ingredient is to having the annual meeting, is to give you a chance, obviously, and you get a chance to meet your directors, you get a chance to meet with intercounty people one-on-one, and if you have questions, it's a great place to get answers.
It is, because we're all there.
All of them.
Yeah. You may see us out and about from time to time and have a question, and maybe it's something that's specific to one department. If you see me at a fair and you ask me a question about engineering, I can probably give you a generic answer, but I'm going to have to take your information down and get it to the right person. Annual meeting, everybody's there, so we can say, hang on just a second. Let me go grab one of these engineers, and then you can talk directly with them. And a lot of that does happen. You'll see members, they're sharing ideas or concerns or taking notes to bring back to the office the next week to put in service orders and different stuff. So.
Absolutely. So it is an outstanding event, and I always look forward to those, even though I don't get a chance to go to them very often. But now that I'm like semi-retired,
you're sliding in a little bit, aren't you?
I'll be able to go next year.
Well, look
That's
at you.
That's going to be so cool. It's probably been 35 years since I've been to one.
They're going to send you with equipment and tell you to broadcast it live or something.
Well, that'll be cool.
We
offered to do that a long time ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
They said it's just too chaotic. Well, at that time, everybody had to check in using the old, old system.
Right.
And they said it's
everything
too
took a little
and,
longer.
Depending upon the weather and everything going on, and then so we'd rather really not have any extra distraction out there at that time. So,
Gotcha.
and I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So anyway, but it was good. It's all right. We don't mind it, but I could.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. I could probably just set up anywhere nowadays. You can just
Right.
go ahead and do it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you're talking about being retired, and we're done talking about a work
Oh, I don't
schedule
care.
next year.
Shoot, that's a vacation. To do a remote broadcast. That's fun stuff. The hard stuff when you're sitting here 18 hours a day. That's not
Yeah.
fun stuff. Anyway, but nonetheless, great time, great things. And a neat thing about the annual meeting / picnic, we know people refer to it both ways, is a lot of people come out with a lot of good stuff.
We gave away $4,000 in electric credits.
Yes, and I got all of it.
Not quite.
Oh, I got none of it.
I don't know that I heard Stan's name at all. But we did. We drew for $4,000 in electric credits, and the last several years, our mail-in voters, they have been eligible for those electric credits too. So when they voted by mail, they included that registration card, and that was split from their ballot when it came in and was recorded. And then the day of annual meeting, we took all those registration cards from those mail-in voters, put those right in the same bucket with the ones that were registering that day, and drew, and they had just as equal a chance to be drawn as anybody else.
Well, you have quite a list
I do.
there, so
I do. And I don't know that I'm not going to read all of this because you only see the first page.
that's only the first page?
That's only the first page. But we did have,
Well, you can read it.
I'm not
mean,
going to
these
read all
people
these.
What?
But we gave away
We
two.
stream, it goes everywhere.
It does go everywhere. So I'll read the big ones. We gave away two $500 electric credits, and they were both from Licking. I know. Michael Williams and Joyce Harlan, they won our two $500 electric credits.
Congratulations to them.
Absolutely. And then we gave away four $250 credits. No, Stan's like wishing it was him. We would have already contacted you. You would have known.
I was gone.
Oh, so you were thinking today you would get that. We would just
Come in there and
surprise
surprise me
you.
with a big bouquet of roses and thank you for everything.
Yeah, he's so
You're
disappointed.
fantastic. And you're not doing that.
I know. He looks a little sad, guys.
I'm feeling down now.
But not surprised.
No, I am not surprised. That is true, Heather. You're right on. Okay, so go ahead with the
So we
200
have four $250 electric credit winners. A couple of them were from Houston, David Scantlin and James Lewis. And then from Summersville, we had Sasha Holden. And then from right here in Salem, John Mims.
Yeah.
Mims. So then we gave away a bunch of $100 credits and $50 credits. Right here in Salem, we had some winners: Pearl Cooley, William Kratz, Steve Lundy, Shannon Bauer. Let's see who else we got. Lon Kinbeck, John Chaplin, and Ronald Weibel. So
Okay,
there were
very
quite a
good.
few Salem winners.
Well, very good. And congratulations to all who won
Yeah,
those credits. It's always a good thing. It's always a welcome gift.
it is. Nobody's going to turn it down.
No.
Yeah.
No. They're not going to turn it down. And then with a slight increase in rates, that helps even a little bit more.
It does
Even
help.
those credits.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, congratulations to all the credit winners, but there were other winners as well. We had a bunch of kids that really
did.
had a good time, didn't
They did. And we, I think we talked about this last month, but maybe we didn't.
We talked about everything.
We added an extra age group for the bikes.
Yes, we talked about that
Okay.
the last two times.
Okay, I thought we did. That's one of those things. When I tell you guys, make sure you share your ideas and your suggestions with us, because that's something we've heard, especially last year. We had a lot of little kids, and previously our bike drawing, they had to be at least 6 to 8 or 9 to 12. But we had a lot of kids under the age of 6, and several members had asked, hey, why don't you do something for the younger kids? So we did. We added a 3 to 5 age category. We had a couple of really cute bikes with training wheels. They were so cute. And we did. We had some super happy kids. Of course, that's the last drawing of the day, and they all get super close to the front because they're hoping their name gets pulled out. And it was nice to give away 6 bikes instead of 4. And now we're trying to talk the powers that be into an under 3 bike drawing. they've got those little.
Well, they got those little.
They got those little
super
balance
small
bikes,
You
yeah.
bet. Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe, who knows? Next year we might have
Oh, well, that'd be cool.
an even extra category.
Well, anyway, congratulations to those little guys. I know, and that means a lot. Winning a bike at that age, that's like winning the lottery.
It is. And this year, as odd as it was, a couple of the winners were sisters. Two of the girls in different age categories. So I'm like, I hope Mom didn't just have like the little car or
When
something.
their birthday, like on June or July 1st or something.
Right. Be like, well, we got to take the bike in the garage back to Walmart
Or wherever you may have bought it.
or wherever you may have bought it.
Ching
Yeah.
ching. No plug there at all. But anyway, all right, and those youngin' winners, who were those little guys? You can name them off because
Absolutely.
everybody loves children.
Yep. So 3 to 5, we had Asher Parks and Skylar Wilson. 6 to 8 was James Bauer and Timber 80. And 9 to 12 was Kyler Lewis and Sage 80.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to those youngins. I'm sure that they'd be out riding their bikes right now, but I'm pretty sure they're not.
I don't think they are right now. No.
Unless they're inside and Mom or Dad doesn't know about it, which that would not be good right now.
Yeah.
Unless you got one heck of a
I was
good-sized
gonna,
basement.
I was gonna say maybe maybe they got an open
Yeah,
basement or something.
Maybe. Anyway, but congratulations to them, and congratulations to all the winners. Really,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's a winner when they really go. You get a free meal, you get a chance to visit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good time, but it's also an important event that has to happen every year. The Inter-County does, and so the meeting went well.
Meeting went well. Yep.
How
So
about those directors?
those directors. So all 3 of our incumbents were reelected. We did have a race in the North District. We had a candidate running against our existing director, and once votes were all tallied, it was our existing director that was reelected. So
Okay, very
all
good.
3 are serving another 3-year term, and then next year we'll have a different slate of directors up for reelection, and we do the same thing. So, as you mentioned, it is a picnic. It's a fun time, but at the heart of it, it is a business meeting. It is something that we're required to do because we are different. We're a co-op. We're not investor-owned or just a city municipal. Our directors are elected by our members, by our consumers. We didn't have any proposed bylaw changes this year, but in the past,
You made up for it last year, which you have 3 of them?
I think we had 3, and the year before we had some, and the year
Yeah.
before that we
I
had
was gonna say,
some.
it's about time to take a break, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice to not have to try to scrunch
Mm.
everything on.
But really, last year's bylaw changes were just updating everything
They were.
due to technology. Really.
They were, yep. And we've not had a major bylaw change as far as changing the structure of the co-op or how the co-op runs. It's all been kind of to modernize and update the way that our bylaws read. So I did want to mention something. We've had a lot of members call, a lot swing by. They were concerned we had issues with the magazine not getting to people in
We
a
talked
timely
about
manner.
that when we met.
Yep. We hear you, and I promise you the board, they're having discussions. I expect next year, if not next year, the next year for sure, we'll probably see an electronic voting option, something through your Smart Hub app, maybe some iPads in the lobby the week of annual meeting or something. But it's been a concern, and we've had a lot of issues this year, and we had a lot of members who are waiting for that magazine. Some never did get it. Some got it way too late to be able to return it the same week to be able to get their ballots in. So goes back to we do listen.
Yeah.
And
with
we,
the speed of the mail too, Heather, it's just you can't get it a week ahead of time.
right.
Not anymore. Maybe years ago.
Right. Not if you want to be able to tear that back page off
Right.
and vote, and then those ballots arrive at
Sure.
the post office.
But then
in
you're
time.
eligible for the credits and things of that nature.
Right.
I'm sure
And-
that's what happened to mine.
Maybe so. Maybe we just didn't get it. I bet you're right. That's probably what it was.
I submitted mine. I don't know. I had mine plenty of time though. But we did express that because people had asked me, and that's why we brought up at the last our last get together that some people had not yet received the magazine, and it was, I think we met on like a mid third of the month in June, and it was
Yeah.
like, hey, we really need to get it by next week because for us to get it back,
Yeah.
you need almost 10 days.
Yeah. And I know our local post office over in Licking, they had blocks of P.O. boxes that hadn't got theirs even a week and 2 weeks after they were supposed to arrive. So we can confirm they were placed in the mail. After that, we can't track those individually. So it is a concern our members have, and if our members are concerned, we are too. So I think we'll see some changes next year. And several years ago, we did have a bylaw change that the wording was changed to allow for electronic voting.
Right.
So that is something that one of those that we updated should we need it, and now we're at a point where we do need that.
And it may need to be tweaked to put it on Smart Hub, that bylaw. It may need to be. I don't know how it's worded.
I think it just allows for electronic or voting through an electronic means or something. So I think we're good as far as how our bylaws are worded.
It may not mean you can actually go to Smart Hub and do it. I don't know. I don't remember the wording of it.
It'd probably be a link in Smart Hub. It's going to take you to a third party.
It's kind of like being at a tablet inside Intercounty. You go to that location, it will be a specific location.
Right, because employees at the co-op, we're not going to see those votes. Those are concealed from us until annual meeting election time.
And surprise.
And then we get the results. So it's like magic. It
just shows up.
It shows up.
It's very good. So I'll be looking for some changes possibly to be made that way, but also you'll still probably be getting them in the rural Missouri. So I'm still sure you're still going to send out the ballots that way. But if you don't get one in time, then you'll be able to option over into Smart Hub. Because on Smart Hub, actually, you'll get your rural Missouri. It will be there.
Right.
It will be there. It won't have all the voting information.
Right.
But it will be there.
You'll be able to find all your annual meeting information. Yeah.
So there might be just something like an article in there, maybe a little thing that said, if you did not get your rural Missouri with your ballot, go to this link.
Right.
Sounds logical.
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I really do think next year it'll be a little different. And if not next year, certainly the year after that. But, it's time. It's an option. We have a lot of members using the app, and if we can make it easier for members to participate, that's what we want. We want them to vote. We want them to read about the director candidates and play an active part. Like I said before, that's what makes us different. So we want them to participate in that.
So actually, I was on Smart Hub last night.
Paying your bill?
I was going to pay my bill last night, but I noticed I was going to bring it up today. They've made some changes to Smart Hub. They've kind of cleaned it up a little bit.
Yep.
So if you haven't been to Smart Hub in a while, and I hadn't been, I guess, for about 3 months.
Couple of months?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think a couple of months ago they updated it.
So it's much slicker. I'll say that. I don't know how
hopefully easier to navigate.
Right, cleaner. A lot of things. And then when you pay, and then when you do go to pay, it's a little bit different. With the options of your credit card or how you want to pay. So bank accounts, etc. So if you haven't been to Smart Hub in a while, and you do sometimes, maybe you only pay your bill if you're out of town on vacation using Smart Hub, which is cool. That's fantastic. Or maybe you have only done it one time on Smart Hub and you may haven't gone back. Well, first off, no shame on you. You need to be on Smart Hub a lot more. Two things it really does is, Heather, and I know, are we still talking about annual meeting or can we shift over?
No, we can shift.
Okay.
Yep.
The reason I want to say this is because obviously we have had some strange weather in this year where we've had some very hot June days, very hot May days, and we haven't even gotten into July where actually some of the days have been a lot cooler.
Right.
Take away the 4th of July. It was way warm 4th of July and 3rd of July. But Friday was a cool day. Saturday's a cool day. These are the days you need to go look at that usage and see what you're using. You know how hot it was 4th of July. It was 101 in the shade. You know, and you can see how your air conditioner or your home electric's being taxed, especially if you have family.
Right.
People.
In and out.
Little people that are going in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, door open, door closed, door open, door closed. Okay. This will kind of give you an idea of like your peak day. For heat. And then you can just really keep your eye closely on Smart Hub to your daily usage. It's a wonderful tool.
It is.
And for me to sit there and say, well, I wish we'd have had this about 40 years ago, you know, because, well, then you can actually show your children, hey, on this day, just remember this is the day of the fireworks, and we had all the family over. This is how much it cost us to run the house that day.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to say it's a smack in the face, but when you don't pay the bills, it's not a big deal. But when you start to pay the bills, especially somebody getting ready to go to college who may have an account put into their name somewhere very in the near future, they realize, the first time they get that account set up, well, you know what? That first bill that comes, it's yours. It's not mom and dad's. It's not brothers or sisters. It's yours.
It's a great tool if you're wanting to manage your usage better. And you've always been able to go out and read your meter, but realistically, people did not go out every day, write down the reading.
Do you want to go out when it's 105 degrees out in the middle of the field
So
where your meter happens to be?
Right, yeah. So it's a convenient way to just open the app. You can see your daily usage, and it allows you to make changes in your behavior.
I just say alterations. You
Yeah.
can do things. Shut off that light in the back room. Block
Right.
off that vent going in the back room.
Because if you're with traditional billing, and that works great for a lot of our members,
It does.
you use all month long, and then a week or so into the next billing cycle, then you've got your bill. And sometimes there's sticker shock. Sometimes you're like, oh, maybe kicking my thermostat down and having that air up
degrees.
cooler, maybe that really did make a difference. Well, then you've already, it's done. You can't change that. But if you're checking that, maybe not even every day, but a couple of times a week, you can see, helps you identify problems sooner. If you've got some sort of problem like a well pump running all the time, or maybe a water heater element that's out,
Or a pool pump.
or a pool pump. Well, those pool pumps are just going to run. So that's
They
not
are.
a problem. That's just an
They
added,
are. But it's
user.
something that when you go from your April to May bill,
right?
that, hello, Mary Lou, goodbye heart, because your wallet's going to be empty if you're not ready for it. And this is why what we're talking about is that if you had this last year, you can monitor it. You can see where you stood last year. Yes, there's a slight rate increase. Not drastic, but enough that you will see a little bit of difference. So look at the kilowatt usage. If that is on your inter-county Smart Hub. It tells
It
you
is.
exactly the amount of kilowatts you have used. And you can compare it. Now, that is apples to apples.
It is. Yeah.
So that's not changing. Yeah, the rate may be a little bit different, but that's not changing. So if you're using more and there's less of you at home
What
and
have
there's
you
no
done?
pool and the little kids aren't out playing baseball all night long with the spotlights out there, then there's something else going on. And you can kind of get the idea that, hey, I may need to go back and do my own home energy audit of your own. Do it. Just make sure all the windows are closed. Make sure everything is sealed. Doesn't take much to do that. And this is the time of year you can really get in there and start recaulking everything, especially not a day like today.
I was going to say, not today.
It's not today's not a good day to do that. And probably a bad day for me to bring it up. But when you get a day where it's 70 degrees, 60 degrees, perfect time to do some caulking. Remove the old caulk entirely, clean it all out, and put that new caulk in. It's going to make a world of difference.
It does. Yeah.
So
Little things
Smart
like
Hub
that.
is a great way. It doesn't tell you exactly where your issues may be, but if you've added a pool and you never had one before, no, you don't have any history to go by, you're not really sure what your bills are going to be, I can't help you with that.
But you can
But
take
you
a
can
look.
contact Intercounty. They can.
You can. Yeah. We can do some math for you and kind of give you an estimate of how much added usage that's going to put on your bill. But you'll be able to see that too. Your daily usage is going to increase. And if you multiply that by 30, you can get a pretty good feel for what it's going to be. But Smart Hub, it really is. We probably don't talk about it enough because it really is a great tool. And there's a lot of little tools inside of the app that are useful. You talk about usage and is there something wrong and the hot days. You can overlay your daily usage with the average daily temperature. And there is, whether you want to think there is or not,
correlation.
there's a correlation. And that's really useful, especially in the winter, because we see our highest bills in the winter. A lot of members with electric heat, a lot of them running space heaters. And it's hard to grasp the fact that you can really have a bill that's that high just because of heat.
Sure.
But when it's 0 degrees and you're trying to heat your house even to 65, that's 65 degrees that you've got to heat that up. And to be able to just have that visual to see your usage and see the average temperature, and you can see that on the cold days when the temperature is low, the usage is high. If you see that then when it warms up, the usage goes down, that's an indication there's not anything wrong at your home. There's not an element out or a well running
Right,
or anything like that. It's just weather related. And that doesn't always make people real happy when we
No.
say those things, but knowing that hopefully helps you make better decisions at home. Maybe you don't need both space heaters running even though you're not in the room, or maybe this time of year you don't need the air down to 65. Maybe
Right.
you can have it at 70, 72, just
But-
little changes.
But there's a lot of neat things about smart hub. You can look back at prior years. When you compare, and a lot of times, and we talk about these things usually once a quarter, a minimum, by talking about using smart hub. But one of the things smart hub can't tell you is when your insulation's getting thin, but your bills can. And if you are just let's just say it's grandma and grandpa, the only one living in the house,
Right.
and the grandkids, they come over in the summer. Maybe they spend 3 to 6 weeks in the summer with grandma and grandpa and doing different things. And you always can tell that bill's going to go up during that time. The kids are taking baths. They're playing with the hose outside. They're doing this stuff. They're in and out, in and out. And okay, we get it. Grandma's cooking more food. Different things. Those are obvious. But let's just say for the last 7 or 8 years, you've been seeing your bill gradually go up with usage. But it's no different in those winter months for grandma and grandma. It's just those two. Well, there's a key right there that maybe, just maybe, your insulation is getting a little thin.
Yeah.
Especially years ago, Heather, when they did the blow-in insulation, how great and everything it was. And it is. It's a fantastic tool. But after about
Settles.
5 years, it starts to settle. And after about 15, you only have a third of that insulation you had in the walls when they originally did it.
Yeah.
Ouch. A third. It's all compacted down.
Right.
And so you actually need to redo it. You have to go back in there and do it. And I think that's kind of one of the big keys that I've seen in this area is people think once they do it, it's done. It's done for good. And insulation.
It'd be nice.
It would be great. It'd be fantastic. I don't know where you can get that insulation. Where after 15 years, automatically just goes, blows it all back up.
Yeah.
That'd be a great thing.
Maybe that's spray foam. That's
Well,
supposed to be pretty
no, I
good.
mean, but there's all different kinds.
There's different options.
You've got obviously blow-in insulation. You've got the,
Bats.
you've got the matted insulation you can put in, and like you were talking about spray foam insulation. People are going to that now. There's a lot of different things that you can do to insulate. Make sure and windows, triple pane, double pane, single pane windows, they all make a difference.
They do.
So what I'm saying is over 5-6 years, if your kilowatt usage was just say 1,000 5 years ago, and it's 1,000 4 years ago, and then it's 1,100, and then it's 1,200, that's 1,300. Nothing's changing.
Right.
Something's changing.
Yeah.
And if you're not adding anything, so let's just say there's no space heaters being plugged in. There's, we didn't go from a gas range to an electric oven. We didn't change our water
Right.
heater out or anything like that. If everything is identical, more than likely your insulation or you have maybe your caulking around your house is starting to give way. So now there's answers. It doesn't tell you exactly where it is, but it does give you some options. And the neat thing is, if you're in that age bracket where that's really taxing on you and you can't get it done, there's help out there.
There is, absolutely.
Statewide help. South Central Community Action Agency can help you with that. They can actually replace your air conditioner. If in some cases, if your air conditioner goes bad. So don't think that you're on an island stranded alone. Call Intercounty. They can help you find different locations. Call South Central Community Action Agency when the periods are open for you to apply.
Right.
And
for weatherization.
for weatherization, Merrimack Regional Planning Commission, they have programs that they can tell you who to contact. So please do this so that you can maximize whatever you need to get your home back up to shape, because energy costs are not going to go down.
Right. And if you can keep that heat or that air, that conditioned air in your home, then your unit is running less. And when it runs less, it's not costing you as much as it would, obviously, if it was running more. So You're also not taxing the system as much as what you would be if it was running more. So your unit, that heater or that air conditioning, the lifespan of that's going to be prolonged because you're not running it as much.
You know, I had this dream, and I always, not really a dream, but I'm always trying to help out Henry County because, you know, I think they just do a fantastic job. But they're so busy doing their everyday stuff, they can't just expand upon things like I do.
So these are Stan's ideas.
Well,
He usually has several.
No, it's a Stan idea, and based upon what you told me with the truck this year, that it was going to be kind of pretty cool to put things out there. So I was thinking, instead of going bigger like that, wouldn't it be cool to take like a dollhouse, pump in, or having like an air conditioning, just pump into that dollhouse with a temperature gauge in there to show people, and then open a couple doors and watch how that temperature changes.
Oh.
You know, a sealed dollhouse where you can just pump in the air, it gets down to 72, and then have two people open the door and have that air go out and see how fast the temperature changes. Or do it with heat, or same thing with heat, have it see how fast it cools down. I just thought that would be cool because you could do that with kids looking right there on top, or
a
even
little
adults.
miniature version.
Yeah, and then you just say, okay, open that door, I'm going to open this door, and here's your thermometer right in the middle of the house, and watch how fast it changes. I thought that would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. Especially if it was like made with plexiglass or something. You
Yeah,
can see
I mean,
through
so you
it.
can see. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know you guys have a lot of very creative people that could probably make a really cool looking dollhouse.
I gotta go back and plant the seeds. What you're saying?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just, wouldn't that be great,
It
though?
would
So
be
you can
a good
actually
visual.
see. We talk about it all the time, about the doors opening and closing. I don't think people will realize, okay, well, yeah, my child only goes in there, only leave the door open for maybe 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, how long does 2 or 3 seconds take? If you have 7 kids. 2 or 3 seconds times 7 is 21 seconds. How long is 21 seconds? How much of that air is going to escape from your home that's cool to go outside in the heat in 21 seconds?
Yeah.
You will be surprised.
Yeah. Or the fridge door.
Or fridge door, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just thought it'd be something that put on a display board, and you could have the, especially in
visual.
a classroom presentation where kids can be right over top. Okay, little Johnny, you open that door, and Sally, you open that door, and whoosh.
Whoosh. Yep.
And let's just see when you can, and then just have like LED readings of the
Yeah.
temperature inside and how it changes so quickly. Just an idea.
It's a good idea.
Another one. I'll bring up for Stan.
His head's getting really big now. He
No,
may not be
it's
able to.
getting big. I just after we talked about the truck, and,
Yeah.
and that is
And
that's
visuals
a big
are-
presentation.
it
but
is.
This is a smaller one.
Yeah. And we can tell people, close your door. Keep the door shut. Don't stand there with the door open. Don't
We're
stand there
from
with the fridge.
Missouri,
Right? You got to see it.
and I think that'd be a great way to do it. But that's just me.
Yeah. Because those kids in the classroom may be more likely to listen to that cool lineman that comes in and talks to them than mom or dad at home. I mean,
Right. And if they get a chance to participate, maybe, as you remind them as you're going in and out of your house, it's doing exactly the same thing as the air in this house is doing.
Yeah.
So minimize it. And the more you minimize it, the more money you save your mom and dad. Makes them happy, makes you happy.
Yeah.
You might get that extra potato chip at dinner. Who knows?
Maybe so. Extra potato chip.
It's a treat. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's just, to me, that'd be just a great display. And you can have that anywhere. You take it to classrooms. You could take it to your fall festivals that you guys go to, all those. And just have it there that day. I mean, obviously, you can't take it everywhere. It can't be everywhere. But
Right.
it'd be kind of a neat thing to do.
It would be.
So I'm done with my suggestions for Henry
Okay.
County. But I thought this actually was a pretty good one.
Yeah. I'm thinking Stan's getting ready to retire. He's going to have a lot of time on his hands.
A lot more ideas.
A lot more ideas. Maybe we can put him to work. Stan will be building the dollhouse.
You really don't want me building it because it will not be sealed. That's right. Yeah.
Like, we can't keep it cool in here.
You might use that one for the drafty one.
This is why it's important to have a good building envelope.
Absolutely. You want to construct it correctly. But these, again, are all things Smart Hub can help you determine, not the dollhouse, obviously, but how your energy usage is and how quickly it can change, and it can do it. And I kind of call it the invisible, heat snatchers and cool snatchers. You can't see them. We call them power vampires when it comes to little phone chargers and
Extra
things you have
things.
plugged in. Well, your walls and your things of that nature where you have little gaps, it could be even something, and I know this sounds crazy, but if those people have central air or central heat and you have vents and it goes into your ductwork, well, have you checked around those vents to see if you've got holes in your ductwork?
Or if the duct.
Is it pushed against the side, or do you actually have a half-inch gap of cold air or hot air coming in your bathroom or bedroom or whatever it is because the ductwork wasn't aligned properly?
Right. Or maybe it's come loose in the
Maybe
crawl
it's come
space
loose.
or under the house or wherever it might be. All those little things, they may not seem like they'll make a difference if you fix them, but if you could take a weekend, spring or fall's usually good because it's, you're not doing a lot of heating or cooling and the temperature is a little bit nicer to be doing projects like that. But if you can tighten those things up, like you said, remove the old caulking, caulk around the windows, make sure the weather stripping around your doors is good, make sure your ducts are all joined up and lined up right. Those little things, not only is it going to make your home more comfortable, but it is going to use you less, which costs you less, which is
Right.
always a good thing.
It is fantastic. Okay, so Smart Hub, I highly recommend. If you haven't been there in a while, first off, check out the new look. I think it looks really good. I think you guys have really cleaned that up nice.
Thank you.
It looks very sharp, and it looks like it's a lot. And for the few things that I did go navigate, it was easier to get there. I will
Good.
say that. Very good.
Good.
All right, so we all know we're all having some storms. We're having a wonderful storm coming through our area today called Burl.
Yeah.
And it used to be a tropical storm, but now it's just
The-
rain.
The leftovers.
All right, but we do know that there's a lot of damage that Burl as a hurricane came onto the coast and it's coming through. And there's still some pretty good winds. I always admire the guys who are linemen and stuff because now they all kind of get put on notice. Whoever's going to respond
Right?
gets put on notice to, they may be going to Texas, they may be going to Louisiana, they may be going down there. Not the most fun thing to do in the middle of summer is to go down there and work outside, and it's going to be hot, it's going to be sweltering,
And long
those people
days.
have nothing right now. There's millions without any electric because there's nothing there.
The infrastructure is just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, we talk about, hey, we may go down to
Right.
Texas
There's
or we may
nothing
go somewhere else.
definitive yet.
Right. We've had a couple of crews just in this past, I don't know, month, 2 months. Carroll Electric and then I think Ozark Border, maybe. There was a co-op in Missouri. But we had a couple of crews that went. There were storms. They had quite a bit of damage. They needed some help getting power back on quickly to members. They could do it themselves, but we want to serve our members well. We want them to have power back restored as
Right.
quickly as possible, and all co-ops do. So we might send crews these different places. We're not ever going to do that if we've got our own issues going on and it's going to put us short. But the really neat thing is that if we ever needed that mutual aid, we would be able to request it. And then there might be crews from, at some point, maybe Texas. Maybe everything they got is going good, and we had
Derecho
storms.
hit. We had crews here from everywhere.
Right. So that's another one of the unique things about co-ops is kind of working together, and it's nice to have that mutual aid when you need it. And the guys, they've all got the same training, those line crews do, and so they can come in and step in and kind of get a to-do list and get to work.
The only little difference is maybe alligators are those 30-foot snakes.
Yeah. So, yeah, the critters are different depending on where you
Mosquitoes
go.
about the size of
Right.
birds,
Right.
but no big deal.
They're tough guys. They'll be all right.
But, I mean, but in all honesty, though, that is a very wonderful part about all of the co-ops. They do work together because they understand what everybody goes through. We all go through storms. We all have damages.
Right.
That might be very minor damage, maybe 2,000, 3,000 people out, and your local co-op can get that up pretty quick. When you start talking 2.7 million people out, it's not going to be too quick.
Right. Yeah.
Going to take some help.
Going to take some help.
And the worst thing is you have to wait for the water to go away.
Sometimes there's, I mean, we talk about that, even our storms here around our area. Sometimes it's not as easy as just, oh, well, this pole is broke.
Sure, we'll go
let's
flip a
go,
switch, right?
let's go fix this one thing. Well, sometimes getting to the problem, especially in those bigger storms, those guys are having to clear the road sometimes.
Sure.
They're having to wait for the water to go down to cross where they need to cross to get to what they need to get to. So sometimes Mother Nature throws curveballs, and it's not just, like you said, it's not just flip a switch and get it back on.
No. And Intercounty has done a fantastic job of clearing the right-of-ways to get access to all the poles that if something happens. But if you've got water that's sitting in those lines, at the base of those lines, there ain't nothing they can do to get there. You can't take a truck in there. The truck going to go sinking.
Right.
So, I mean, they do have to wait. They don't want to wait, but they're going to have to wait. Sometimes you just have to do that. So,
Yeah.
a lot of times, like we say, we all it's just a flip of a switch. No, it's not.
It'd be nice if it was.
Well, it was. I mean,
Right.
and in some cases, the damage is minimal. In other cases, the damage is vast, to where there's no pole there, there's no lines there left, and it's gone, and you have to start from scratch.
You're rebuilding all of it.
Yeah, and that's
Probably what they're facing down in Texas. So
And here's the hardest thing, Heather, and ever since COVID, I think it's more, maybe been more discussed, or maybe it's actually reality, and I know it is actually reality, but getting the wire, getting the lines that you need. Okay, yeah, you've got a good supply, but you don't have 600 miles
right. Well, just
sitting there waiting to be used.
and sometimes, I mean, what was it, just last year or was it the year before? Black River, our co-op here, just neighboring us, their warehouse was hit.
Yeah.
That was their fleet. Their trucks were in there. Their
everything.
transformers, their wire, their poles. That's part of the path that tornado took. And so sometimes you can have a good stock, but sometimes it can be gone too.
Yeah. But anyway, getting that supply, though, if you are low, is not easy. And sometimes you have to do some trading with other co-ops and put the orders in and get them in. But if you're just waiting for it to be shipped from a warehouse, guys, I'm going to tell you, there's still a lot of that insulated line out there that Intercounty uses, or any kind of coax line that might be needed. There's not a lot of it available. There's
Right.
some.
And
but
we have had inventory concerns since
how long is it going to
COVID.
take you to get a truck?
Yeah, that's funny.
You get-
We've been told now they need at least a 5 to 6 year lead on an order for a truck. And that's probably being optimistic.
That's crazy.
It is, yeah.
When
That's a long time
It
to-
used to be about 9 months.
Yeah, less
Maybe.
than a year. You
Yeah.
could budget it and get it built and bought in same
5
budget
to
year.
6 years.
5 to 6 years lead time to order a truck. And that takes a lot of strategic planning. You talk about the things that go on kind of behind the scenes at the co-op. There's a lot of planning that has to happen to know which vehicles are going to need to be replaced 5 or 6 years down the road.
But one thing the co-op does do is keep immaculate records of all those pieces
yeah.
of machinery,
Yep.
the trucks, the service trucks, the repair trucks. They keep immaculate records. They really do.
Yeah, we've got to.
And the problem is, though, is as that fleet ages, though, is finding the parts.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm serious, because a lot of these, there's some vehicles after 10 years, you can't get parts.
yeah.
So, anyway, we're not having that issue yet, guys.
No.
We're not having it, but, but you can see it if you have to wait 5-6 years to get a truck and order a new truck, and you've got 2 of them that say, okay, maybe you have 2 years left. Hello?
Right?
Or you're looking for a used truck. That's a quest I wouldn't want to be on, because I'll tell you what, like you say, you have plans strategically. Maybe the board back in 2017 had all this planned out strategically. We're going to get 2 new trucks in this year. Wait 3 years, get 2 new trucks in this year.
Right.
Well, they didn't order 6 years out to get those 2 new trucks.
Right.
They're going to need 6 years. Like, I can pretty well assure you that did not happen.
No, it didn't. It didn't. So some changes and
Yeah. So, but it
how
puts
we
a
do
stress
things.
on all the co-ops. It's not
It
just
does.
intercounty.
right.
All the co-ops are facing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's really rough.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
I thought it would be 3.
No. 3 would be nice. 3 would be nice if they could tell
well, I mean,
us
it's not
3 now.
nice, but it's better than 5.
Yeah.
Better than 6.
Yeah.
But these are kind of things and that's why these board positions are so important when we talk about annual meeting. People have to be soothsayers. They have to be Nostradamus and look in the future and say, we're going to need this truck in 2031. We need to order it now.
Right. And what's the cost of it going to be then? How
So
much
I'm
do
sure
you
it's gonna be
budget?
exactly the same as it is today.
Oh, you're a funny guy. Listen to Stan telling jokes.
But it's still going to be $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Those big trucks, the big bucket trucks.
It just hurts to think.
I know.
Ouch. And I'm not buying it. It still hurts to think. Well, I'm not buying it directly,
Yeah.
but indirectly you do pay
Yeah.
for it with
Yeah.
the rates. Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of planning.
Well,
Yep.
better than me. But that's why you're directors, guys. When you
important.
kind of think, well, it's just a big picnic. Yeah, it is. It's a great time. But those directors, we probably don't give them enough credit, Heather. We should. It'd be nice one day, maybe bring in a director one time, maybe one of our directors. And
We could
just
do that.
Have them explain what it is to be a director.
Yeah. Absolutely. We could do that.
I have all kinds of good ideas.
On a roll today. Should have been taking notes.
You got the good notes in front of you.
Dollhouse, director.
Hey, well, the dollhouse you can probably remember. Director, you probably remember too.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as cool as those energy credits. I can tell you that right now. But they are. But it would be something. I think people might be interested to find out what a director actually does. Because we hear about it, we vote on them, and you really never see them.
Right.
You might talk to them out and about and maybe get a better idea, but
Yeah.
you don't see them all the time, all around. I mean, they've got their lives to do and their jobs, and they do a tremendous job. Those directors do a tremendous job, and also our roundup people do an incredible job.
do.
All these people do these jobs behind the scene. You don't ever see them.
Right.
Well, you might, but you don't see them very often.
No, not very often. And I'm glad you mentioned Roundup because I wanted to share that we are literally like a handful of accounts away from being 19,000 accounts rounding up.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yep. So if you're not familiar, Roundup is our charitable foundation, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's members rounding their bill up to the next nearest
81
dollar.
cents my last bill.
Was it? Mine was like 37 or something,
81
I think.
cents.
Yeah. So it averages to be about $6 a year, around 50 cents a month. Not a whole lot that you or I could do to help someone with a couple of quarters.
You got a jingle in your pocket. It might be about it.
Yeah, you can't even buy them a...
3 quarters, a nickel, and a penny aren't going to go very far.
No, they're not. But when you've got nearly 19,000 accounts that are rounding it up, there's a substantial amount of money there. And that's when you can start to really make a difference in the lives of people that live in our local communities. And that is something that we stress. This money does stay local. You're not rounding up your bill and it's going to help somebody in Kansas City or St. Louis or Springfield. It might help someone within the city limits of a town that we serve around. But if you were to look at a map, the outermost boundaries of the co-op, anyone residing within those is eligible to receive assistance.
And Intercounty is a big co-op.
It is a big co-op. And we do serve around several cities. Salem is one of them. Rolla, we've got Kabul,
St.
Houston,
James.
St. James. So,
All the way down to Mountain Grove and beyond.
Yep. Summersville, all those areas. But we do have several cities within that. And I think it's important to remind people that you may not be a member of the co-op, but you're still part of our local communities. You live here, you work here. That roundup money is for the communities and you're here. So,
And it cannot be used to pay your electric
it
bill.
cannot be used to pay electric bills.
But it can be used for a lot of very good things that may be happening to you that are very unfortunate.
There are a lot of other organizations out there that can help with utility assistance. And we want to be transparent in the fact that this money is coming in from members. 100% of that is returned back to the communities. We don't keep any of that. There's no administrative costs taken out of that. we're not going to use it to pay people's electric bills. We're not going to ask you to round up your bills so we
Pay you,
can
yeah, make sure
so
you
we can
keep
get
your guys,
paid.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not the intentions of the program. So sometimes people, when we say that, they're like, "What? Why? That doesn't make sense." But there are other needs, and we've talked about these before. Maybe it's a vehicle repair bill so you can get back and forth to work, or maybe it's
Might
the
be new
heat pump or
tires
the
and you just
furnace or
can't
the
afford it.
yeah, or maybe medication, or we've had actually a lot of times people end up needing a wheelchair ramp, and those are not free, nor are they cheap. So sometimes they have people or groups that are willing to build those, but they just need the money to buy the supplies. And so Roundup's been able to do that too.
And I don't know who these people are, so I can't tell you, but I did hear that Roundup helped somebody whose mother or father had a stroke, and suddenly they were having to live with them, and these people weren't ready for that. They were not ready to accommodate somebody who had a stroke where they're going to have to be there virtually 24/7. So, yes, they had to build a ramp, and they had to actually make the home more accessible for the person too. So, they got some money for that.
Yeah,
I don't know who it was, but I'm thinking, what a great use of funds.
right.
This person had no idea this was going to happen, and in a flash, your life changes.
Right.
You know, it's where all of a sudden the home that you've been living in all these years is not adequate for the purpose that you now have to have.
Right.
And so those adjustments, though some may be somewhat minor, some may be, maybe a little bit wider doorway. Okay, that doesn't take too much as long as you have room on each side to extend your door. But if you don't, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
Some handicapped accessible getting into the shower and getting out of shower, bathtubs, or even just going to the sink where you have to be able to take a wheelchair under the sink. So, most of us don't think about that when we build our homes and things of that nature, but there could come a time in your life after a stroke, an accident, or something like that, that you're thrust into that situation. So,
Right.
again, tip of our cap to the Roundup people. They are true champions because they really go out and try and do their darndest to help somebody in a time of need, and they try and do it as quickly as possible to where they can justify it, and then they make sure that the person's claim is real, go out there, find it, get it done, and help those people out. So they've always got my respect, and I truly do appreciate that. Sometimes it takes a special person to have to go see those situations because it breaks your heart.
It does. Yeah, there's a lot of situations we're not aware that our neighbors might be going through. So let us know if you need help. We've got an application we can get to you so you can fill out. But also maybe you know somebody that needs help. Maybe they don't know about the program.
All right.
If you can request an application and then take it to your neighbor or take it to a friend, help them fill it out if they need help filling it out. But when we give you that, there's a postage paid return envelope, so you can just pop it in the mail and it'll come back to us. And then they do meet once a month. They always meet the second Tuesday of the month. So today they'll be going over applications that they received through the end of June. And then any that they receive in July, they will vote on next month.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great program, and there's no, as Heather mentioned, no administration fee. These people don't get paid anything, and all that money goes to Roundup to help the people who are being helped by Roundup. They get every single dime of that money that goes to the program. So, again, it's an outstanding program and one that was long overdue. And I loved it when Intercounty started. It was about 30 years ago, wasn't it? Somewhere pretty close to that. It got started. It was voluntary, and members kept growing, but it took a while for it to really take off.
Yeah. Yeah, we struggled to maintain about 3,000 accounts participating. There were several years worth of meetings where you're counting pennies. I mean, how much can we help all these applicants and how much money's in the bank account, and how do we do this fairly for all the people that apply? So it was tight for a while, but I really think the participation, it speaks volumes about our members. Huge thank you to you guys. Quite literally no program without you all. So thank you if you're rounding your bill up, and if you're not and you want to, it's very easy. There's a multitude of ways that you can
Sure.
sign up for that. But
It's on your bill.
it's on your bill. But just let us know. Just tell us you want to sign up for Roundup. We'll get your account set up on it. And if you need help, you got to reach out and let us know too.
Check the checkbox on your bill.
Mm-hmm.
You can call. You can email, text.
Yep. Message on Smart Hub.
However you want to do it, just get it to them, and they will get back to you with
Yeah.
it. All right. The other thing is we were starting to talk about Roundup not paying intercounty bills, which is true. They do not pay intercounty. But if you are having an issue with your intercounty bill, do not ignore it.
Yeah.
Do not set it off to the side and say, I can't pay this month. That's not the wise thing to do. There's a number of different things you can do. And number one, first would be to contact Intercounty and let them know the situation.
Right. And it may be, we have some payment arrangement options. Those are limited to I'm going to say 1 or 2 a year. It may not be 2. It may just be 1. But it may be that you're eligible for a payment agreement, and we can kind of break that up over the next several months. But it might be that we can help put you in touch with an assistance organization too, because as I mentioned, there are several assistance organizations throughout our service territory that can help with utility bills. So it might be that if you call, we can put you in contact with the organization that can help you and get that bill paid until you get back up on your feet.
Exactly. And if you're starting out, there's nothing better than the prepayment option.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good for you.
It is. So prepay, we've got traditional billing and prepay billing, and traditional billing is exactly what it sounds like. You use your electricity all month, and then we generate a bill, and we send you that, and then you pay it. Prepay is also exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of like putting gas in your vehicle. You
Pay for it
decide,
first.
you pay for it first, you decide how much you're going to put on. You've kind of got that gauge. You make sure you put more in it before you run out. The Smart Hub app kind of helps you monitor. It's that gauge for you. You can see how much you've got left. But, you were talking about when you're first moving, the really good thing about prepay is there's no deposit. Right. There's no security deposit required. So a lot of times when you move, whether you're renting or you've bought, there's just a lot of expenses associated with that. And to not have to pay a security deposit for your electric, that lightens your load a little bit,
Sure.
then it's a good option.
Especially when you're moving to somewhere if they want first and last rent, and then a deposit on your electric, and a deposit on this, and it adds up very fast. Hard to get started.
It is hard to
anymore.
get started. And hopefully prepay helps with that, kind of just provides a different option.
So if you have questions on a bill or different types of ways you can pay your bill, we have other ways. We have obviously direct out of your bank account. You can do that. You can pay by a credit card. There's a was it 888 number now that we have to call for the credit card payments? Because it did change.
It did change. It's 855.
855.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yep, we do have a new number for that, but you can pay through the automated line. If you don't have a Smart Hub account and maybe you don't want to set one up, I don't know why you wouldn't want to set one up.
Maybe you don't have internet.
There's a one-time payment option on our website. It's a Pay Now button, and you don't have to set up an account. And I think a lot of times family members, they use that when they're trying to help a family member out or a friend. They don't have to have an account set up,
Right.
and they just have to know the last name and the account number, I believe, and then they can go in and make a one-time payment in the office, through mail. Lots of options.
Lots of different options. Old-fashioned way, by mail. Just remember, though, if you mail it in,
Allow
give a
for
lot
some
of
time.
lead time, okay? Because Intercounty is not responsible if they don't get your bill.
Yeah,
That's the scary part.
it is, and we've had more and more problems with that.
Yeah. So anyway, but we want to let people know if you have any questions about especially if you're in a situation where things are starting to get rough, please call Intercounty. Don't leave it in the dark. Don't ignore it. Don't say, "Well, I'm hoping I can find $500,000 under a rock tomorrow and everything will be great."
Hopefully your bill will.
Hopefully you will, but I doubt it.
Unlikely.
I mean, it's not like the Beverly Hillbillies go out back and take a shot in the ground and discover oil. Probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
But if it does, fantastic. But if it doesn't, make Intercounty aware that you're struggling here, and you just let them know. I mean, if nothing else, they'll give you those options that Heather's telling you about. They'll give you the different things that you can do to try and get that bill paid, and the number of different options and number of different things that you can do. So please look at that. We don't want anybody shut off, and neither does Intercounty.
Right.
They don't want to shut you off.
Absolutely not.
It's not what we are out to do, is put people in a situation where it's super uncomfortable.
No, absolutely not.
All right, very good. Do you have anything else that you had on your list to talk about today? You got your meeting in, we got Smart Hub in, we got Roundup in, talking about the great work that our people do. We're going to get a new
Mutual
director
aid.
in here to talk with us, and we're going to get
A
Dollhouse.
dollhouse. Yeah. Look at that.
We're busy.
We are busy. We'll come back next month and there'll be more ideas.
I can't wait to see that Dollhouse next month when you bring it in. Probably not going to happen.
A drawing of a plan for maybe more like
that would be all right.
Yeah.
too. I would be thrilled with that. I'm just thinking, it's like, I just found it. I'm thinking right here as you're talking about
I
that.
know.
Wouldn't that
Hey,
be
and
great?
I've got your magnet too. I didn't bring your magnet. That was one of your ideas that you
yeah.
had, and we made happen. So we gave those out at annual meeting. Actually,
You weren't going to give them out at annual
well,
meeting.
we got new ones.
You got new ones
We
in
got
there
new
quickly?
ones. Yeah, we sure did. So we handed those out at annual meeting.
Well, last time we had talked, though, you said you were.
Our phone number changed, so we couldn't hand them out.
Yeah. So you got new ones.
Yeah.
Well, good for you
I
guys.
know.
See, every now and then I have
See,
a
Stan has
great
good
idea.
ideas.
Every now and then.
So we might get a dollhouse.
Well, or some kind of architectural miniature. Maybe we'll call it an architectural miniature, not call it a dollhouse.
If I approach the engineers with that idea, I might want to use that instead of dollhouse.
Yeah, let's just say, hey, can we set up a miniature home architecturally drafted to
Yeah.
where it will show rooms,
Yeah,
and then
kinda
we can show how
Choose my words
how
wisely.
fast energy leaks out of your house when doors open, and we can put.
Or the
some
window is.
I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to have myself, but it's again my idea, so I would. Anyway, Heather, as always, appreciate you making
Yeah,
the trip
absolutely.
back. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you, it's still raining.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I know you
All
figured.
day, probably.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a wet day. So you please be careful at the beginning
Absolutely.
back.
Thank you.
And of course, all of you out there, please be careful. Turn around, don't drown. Watch out for those low water crossings. This is a day that obviously, maybe not yet, but given the amount of rain we're supposed to get over the next 10 to 12 hours, those low water crossings could be very impassable. So please, again, back up. Don't go down that path. We always say once you do it, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing in some cases. In other cases, trying to go across the stream that's moving at about 30 miles an hour is probably not a good idea with a car, or a truck, or anything else that you, even though you think you might. I've got 4-wheel drive. I can go through anything. I've heard that story. It's not true. So,
When the tires don't meet the
well,
road.
yeah, when your 4-wheel drive means nothing when you're trying to drive on water.
Yeah.
It means nothing. Okay, the water doesn't care, and it's going to take you for a ride. So
Yeah.
please don't do that. We want all of our friends to join us again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day on
That's
out.
right.
And again, I know there's a few areas on 32 that do pond a little bit, so you be cautious.
I will.
Because that can be a little bit nasty on the way back. That's Heather Tidwell, our friends from Intercounty today, and we always appreciate you or whoever we have in. Could be Tony, could be somebody else. We always appreciate
Thank
our
you.
friends from Intercounty coming by. It's the second Tuesday of every month. We do it here at KSMO, and we do stream that at KSMORadio.com, KSMO Stream Facebook, KSMO YouTube. They get out there and all that, plus the AM and FM. And again, Heather, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
Keep
you.
up the great work, girl, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Stick around. We have Civic Happenings. Ben will be back in with that shortly. We also have AP News and statewide news from the Missouri Net coming your way.
Your station for Salem High School sports, KSMO, Salem.
AP News for this Sunday, July 7th. I'm Jackie Quinn. Tropical storm Barrel's expected to sock much of the Texas Gulf Coast with heavy winds and rain up to 15 inches in some places, starting in the evening and overnight hours.
We are expecting Beryl to regain hurricane strength before it reaches the Texas coast.
National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan says landfall is forecast between Mesquite Bay and Galveston.
Hurricane force winds reach the coast overnight tonight, and then a widespread heavy rainfall event across much of eastern Texas developing over the next day or two.
Hurricane warnings are posted with tornadoes also possible. Storm surge is a big concern, up to 6 feet in places like Matagorda Bay. In Freeport, Texas, Mark Richardson's watching the surf churn up.
The flooding is a big issue if it stalls out and it hangs around, because even not stalling out, we're in an area where it's supposed to be like 8 to 10 inches of rain.
Some evacuations in coastal areas have been ordered. In Philadelphia,
President Biden is coming back. He's a comeback kid.
President Biden warmly welcomed by leaders of a predominantly black church as Biden fights to regain public confidence. He says there's more to be done to help the black community.
Help more black families build wealth and pass it on to future generations. To keep our community safe.
Second gentleman Doug Emhoff has tested positive for COVID-19. His wife, Vice President Kamala Harris, tested negative. She was at the New Orleans Essence Festival this weekend. In France, polling indicates that left-wing politicians are winning more seats than the far right, but no side appears to have a definitive hold. NATO leaders coming to Washington, D.C., President Biden hosting a summit starting Tuesday. This is AP News. A tribute to John Landau.
I'm Haya Panjwani with an entertainment update.
Titanic was called the Ship of Dreams.
John Landau, an Oscar-winning producer who worked closely with director James Cameron on the Titanic and the Avatar series, has died. He was 63. Landau's partnership with Cameron led to 3 Oscar nominations and a Best Picture win for 1997's Titanic. In a statement, Cameron says Landau, quote, will be remembered as much for his vast generosity of spirit as for the movies themselves. Jury selection begins this week for